Good morning and welcome to day 2 at Florence Freshman Center. Today we're going to go over a couple more things that you need to know as it relates to establishing the roles and the things that we'll do here at Florence Freshman Center. I'd like to begin by commending you all on a good first day of school on yesterday. I thought things went very well. Probably the only snafu that we had was lunch. Hopefully that'll go a lot smoother today. Things that will help that go smoother is number one, if you remember what your lunch number is before we get into the cafeteria. Number two, once you get your tray, find yourself a seat. If you're not eating, if you'll sit in the chairs that have been set up, that would help us all as well. And then finally, as it relates to the cafeteria, we put in an extra row of tables that will help. Another thing that goes along with that, though, is this. If you have F&P 1 on your schedule, that means you go to the classroom first, and then you come to lunch when you're dismissed to come to lunch. If you have F&P 2 on your schedule, you come to lunch first, then you go to the cafeteria, and everybody's going to be able to eat, regardless of how the confusion goes. Well, confusion will work itself out over the first 3 days of school, and then we'll be ready to rock on, and lunch will be a thing that will hopefully be something of ease. Also, those of you who have Florence High School on your schedule, if you need help finding where your classrooms are, please ask an adult. We're here to help, and we want to make sure that you get where you're supposed to get in a timely fashion. As I mentioned yesterday, at Florence Freshman Center, we need to walk with purpose, which means that if we have somewhere on our schedule we have to be that's across campus, we need to be trying to get there in a timely fashion. I don't want you running in the hallway, but I want to make sure that you're headed where you're supposed to be and that you're about the business of what it is that you're supposed to be doing during the course of the day. During the course of the day, please don't ask to leave the classrooms. It's very important that you stay in there and listen to what the teachers have to say so that they can get you where they need to get you during the course of this school year. I also want to mention bus riding etiquette. When you're riding the bus, please respect the bus drivers. Bus driving is not an easy job to have, being responsible for you all in terms of transporting you to and from school. So I ask that you follow the directives on the bus because the bus is an extension of the school day. The other thing about the bus being an extension of the school day, this is a privilege that can be taken for a short or a long period of time. So if you get in trouble on the bus, get written up, you will be put off the bus and you have to find some other kind of wet method of getting yourself to school. So I encourage you all to do what the bus drivers ask you to do while you're riding the bus. F&P, just to revisit it, for the first 9 weeks you'll be in a class that's called Orientation to High School. That class will have information that will help you be successful not only in grade 9, but also in grade 10, 11, and 12. The information that's covered in there is pretty important. We have about 9 weeks worth of instruction, and then at the end of that 9 weeks, I want to make sure that you all know what will happen. What will happen is this. We will evaluate attendance, grades, and discipline. Those who have no grade less than a 70, those who have been at school, have not missed school any more than 3 days, and those who have not had any discipline will earn what is called a 50-minute lunch, which means that during lunch you'll have 50 minutes of free time that will take place during the course of every day. I want to make sure that you all know that and that you all hear that. Others will be placed in an AMP class, which means academic support. Basically, what will happen is we will identify the area where you showed the greatest deficiency during the first 9 weeks, place you with a teacher for 23 minutes, and try to help overcome whatever that obstacle is that caused you to have that deficiency of a grade lower than a 70 during that 9 weeks. Also, again, I just want to make sure if you have a class at Florence High School, ask where it is if you don't know, if you're not sure. It's okay to be lost. Yesterday there was a senior that didn't know how to get to his class. I helped him as I was helping other freshmen. So it's not a problem to get lost. I want to make sure you understand that. Also, cell phones, out of sight, out of mind. That means you don't have them out texting, whether it be during lunch, in between class, in the bathrooms, whatever. If they're out, an adult's going to take them, and another adult that's responsible for you is going to have to come pick them up. I want to make sure that we understand that we have that out there. Dress code. It's probably 1 or 2 of you that slipped through the cracks yesterday as it relates to dress code. Our policy says no holes, no slits, or patches in relationship to our clothes. That also means that some of the girls yesterday, I saw one at the end of the day yesterday that had like a hole that showed her shoulder. That is considered to be out of dress code. So make sure that you have clothes that are in dress code, that follow the dress code. That will be looked at and you will be reprimanded for that. So make sure that you're not having anything on that's too revealing, that you're properly covered. A polo, a t-shirt, that's usually, or an Oxford, are definitely shirts that will be appropriate. It's about the only thing that I saw yesterday that was out of line. Girls, I will make sure that we say that watch your skirt lines, make sure that they come down low enough as it relates to that, but I didn't see any of that on yesterday. Classroom etiquette. All that I ask you to do is be respectful to the teachers that you're in the classroom of. As I mentioned yesterday, we have one rule, and that's the rule of respect here at the Florence Freshman Center. If you are following that rule of respect, everything should go pretty smooth. Respect means that you treat others the way that you want to be treated, and that's basically what the expectation is. Now, I must mention this. Not that I'm trying to look for anything negative, but I must mention this. During the course of this year, we are a community. We will be a family starting on August the 10th, going all the way to May 20, whatever day it is that we get out of school. Sometimes there are going to be issues that will arise that will cause me maybe not to get along with someone else on the staff, or maybe me not to get along. And I'm using that as an example, thinking of you as a student not getting along with somebody that's a fellow classmate of yours. If you have any kind of issue, you need to let an adult handle it rather than trying to take it into your own hands. We will try to resolve whatever it is and try to peacefully resolve it so that we keep you here at school. I would like to minimize the number of students that have to send alternative school, minimize the number of students that have to suspend during the course of this year, and keep us all here so that we can have a successful year. If you're a student who was suspended last year or any other year before that, this can be a year where you reinvent yourself and you don't get in any kind of trouble. And that's our goal for you here at Florence Freshman Center. Now, I want to make sure that if, again, you know you have an open door policy with me as your principal, with your counselor, Ms. Jennifer Colliper Davis, who is, of course, our assistant principal, any teacher. We're all here for you to help support you and make you be as successful as you can during the course of this year. That is our number one goal. In the hallways, I want to make sure that you understand we need to try to walk to the right of the hallways to leave a clear path so that we can get where we're supposed to get and people not have to bump into each other. We have a smaller class than what we're normally used to having here, so it's a great opportunity to be able to make sure that we get everybody doing what they're supposed to be doing during the course of this year. Very important. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, when we start programs, we'll start by saying hard work pays off. I want to make sure you understand just what that means. That's not just something we say. It's something that is real. If you'll put forth the effort in relationship to being a successful student, it will pay off in the long run in the form of scholarships, letters of recommendations that will be able to help you get scholarships. It's very important that you understand this one thing, an impression, first impression. You never know who's watching you. You never know who you're going to need in life. Make sure that you carry yourself in a way that is positive. You never have to worry about somebody having a negative impression of you or somebody putting something out about you that will be negative that could keep you from getting somewhere in life that you should be able to get just based on who you are. Character is a very important thing. That means that you are basically doing what you're supposed to be doing regardless of who's watching. And I encourage you all to make sure that you develop, establish, and keep a character that's going to take you far in life. That's the important thing, and that's where the idea of hard work pays off comes from. Just want to make sure that you all hear that. I want to make sure that you all know that. Today is just day 2. We have a long way to go, but I hope you all have a successful day today. The other thing is our Chromebooks. Everybody should have their Chromebooks by today. Everybody should be getting their lockers so that you can make sure that you put your backpacks away. Backpacks are not to be in the classroom, so we need to make sure that they go in lockers and that kind of thing. It's a very important thing. That's basically the things that I wanted to make sure that we covered with you today. If you have any questions of me, see me in the hallway. I'm out there during class changes. See me before school when we're coming in and that kind of thing. And we'll try to help you and get you directed to where, of course, you can have a very successful year here at Florence Freshman Center, because that's my goal for each and every one of you. With no further ado, I'm going to end this particular session. You'll have one more video from me tomorrow, and then on next Monday, we'll start the F&P program. Thank you very much, and I hope you all have a great day here at the center.